Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Besthetician podcast. Today's episode is going to be focused on how to grow your social media presence as an esthetician in 2025. I want to talk about our story a little bit first and how we initially thought that we wanted our business to go with Skin by You. When we first opened, I didn't have any anticipation of growing my following on social media. The goal was to just get clients in the door, and it still is, but it's crazy how fast our Instagram grew in the beginning. And I thought that I wanted to be in the treatment room 5 days a week.
Yep.
And that quickly changed when I realized that how exhausting, number one, it can be.
Yeah.
And number two is that there are so many opportunities to make money on social media with social media.
Yeah, I wonder, and I'm sure most people don't know this about us, but yeah, when we first started the Instagram, it was solely to get clients in, and we never comprehended or had an idea that we could grow to where we are now and have a following and be able to make money off the, out of the treatment room. So yeah, you're right. I mean, we first opened, we were posting consistently. We weren't looking for virality. We were hyper focused on our content only being shown to locals because that's who was coming in, and it was working. So
I didn't even follow any estheticians back.
Yeah.
Because that's how strict I was about getting clients
making sure that Instagram knew that our content was for clients in Gilbert, Arizona specifically. And we started posting more and more because the more we posted, the more likely was an eyeball that was going to come and buy come in for a service. So yeah, I mean, that of course, all was a recipe to grow on social media, and we knew that it could happen, and we did have plans for growth. And at the time we were like, imagine if we had 10,000 followers on our business account. But it still kind of felt impossible because we still were like, well, we want people to come in the door, because if we can't stay in business, it doesn't matter how much we grow an Instagram account if the business shuts down, right? And I have to go work construction again.
Yeah. And I previously had another account which was more focused on backdrop educational videos. It was at Skin by Victoria with 2 eyes at the end, and we knew how to grow that. We grew that account. I mean, it took trial and error, of course, but we grew that account. We had an idea of, okay, if we're going to open up a new Instagram, we know how to do it, but this is going to be a completely new strategy.
Yep.
And I think that's also why we were able to grow so fast, because we had so much background in building a different business. So we kind of had a little cheat code in the beginning because we had an understanding of social media, in my opinion. But when you're opening up your business, I think that it's okay to evolve and have different feelings, because you may go into work and you may think that, again, like me, you want to be in the treatment room 5 days a week. And then once I started doing that, I was like, wow, I don't have work. And what this looks like for me, I didn't feel like I had work-life balance. And I was constantly struggling of like, oh my gosh, I love what I do, but oh my gosh, I want to also be with my family at home. So growing your social media as an esthetician, there are a few things to consider. Number one, followers do not matter if you're trying to get clients in the door. That's a huge one. I think a lot of people message me and they say, I want to go viral to get clients in the door. And that's not how it works, guys. Unless you're posting food in Arizona, let's say, you're going to get people in Arizona. But once you get to a certain peak as an esthetician, other estheticians are going to be inspired by you. And of course, there are ways that, I mean, there's a lot of clients that do follow me, but when you get this mass following, majority of the time, it's going to be others in the industry. So you're going to be influenced by others and maybe people that are,
learning to grow and build their own business and inspired by you and your journey.
And we realized that quickly. We were like, what the heck? Stop following us.
Yeah, just to give a little more insight in case you don't follow us on Instagram. And we have 110,000 followers on Instagram now. And we put a ton of time and energy and effort into good engagement and interaction and a good community over there. So I feel like we're in a pretty good place now to talk about both. There's a lot of misinformation on going viral to book clients and why you're making content and why you need to get more followers, and we look back now and we understand if we started a new business in a new city, we made a new Instagram, we know how to do it to get clients in the door. And virality and making, even for us, the type of content that we've kind of went into, which that's one of the reasons why this podcast is here is so people know the content that we make now is not to get clients in the door. So if you're inspired by us and you're an esthetician or by Victoria in the account, just know we're not making content to get clients in the door. Content can stumble, it can fall upon clients, sure. But now we're optimizing content for just engagement and making really visually pleasing, keeping the brand moving forward, potential brand partnerships, getting new eyeballs of estheticians is important for us now, so they can find the resources that we have with Patreon or even the YouTube. So it's a completely different audience. And as we've grown, we've lost touch with a lot of the locals that would come in and book services because our content is getting spread in so many different directions and showing to estheticians and in other countries. We get a lot of eyeballs from other countries. So if you're an esthetician and you're looking at us for inspiration, just know there's a whole strategy into actually booking local clients, and it's not making viral videos. And it's frustrating for us, us looking at other content and people who sell things. And, I know that the numbers is fun and it looks good and it's appealing, but I mean, even now, a lot of your clients don't even know that we have 110,000 followers on Instagram. They come in based off of Google or Google review or referral, and they don't even know that we have a large presence in the aesthetic community, and it doesn't matter to them. They come in to get results. They come in for a treatment. And that matters so much more. The 10,000 follower thing, it's just not, and I think with fake followers and things like that now, people are a little bit more skeptical. They don't know what's real and not real. At least some people are. But a lot of your ideal clientele, they don't really care how many followers you have. They want a good service. They want an expert. So when you're starting to build your Instagram, focus on showing your expertise and not how many views you get, right? I mean, you have people all the time like, oh, I'm stuck getting 1,000 views. Like, no, you're not stuck. That's insane. That's amazing that 1,000 people, hopefully locally, are seeing your content. And that if you're doing it correctly, people who are interested in purchasing your services or your products. And I think it's really easy to look at some of the bigger estheticians like yourself in the space and go, I just want what they have, right? I want to do what they're doing. And it's like, no, we're on different paths now. Like we're going down and we're selling different things. We have established businesses, so we can dabble into experimenting with content for virality, right? Like we actually went into content going like, let's try to make this one go viral. And it doesn't affect the Skin by You business at all. But then you got a bunch of
estheticians sharing your stuff truthfully. You think virality is for your business. It can actually hurt your business more than it's going to help sometimes because you're not attracting the right eyeballs. And for instance, we actually mentor this esthetician and she has, I would say, 1,000 followers. And every single time she posts, she gets a booking. And it's because her audience is engaged in booking services. So that 1,000 followers is actually way more valuable than somebody like me that has 100,000 followers. And I'm just attracting a different type of audience now. And that's my strategy. And what we did in the beginning, again, did work in the time and place that we were. And we were like, because we want to be a change in the industry, we were like, what can we truthfully sell that's authentic and real? Because we were there when we started our business and we had 0 clients in a new state and it was so scary. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is actually working. This is crazy. And so to be able to build a business from scratch and give people the tools and help them not make the same mistakes that we did in the beginning has been huge. It's been so rewarding.
Let's be really blunt and honest. We posted last week that we had an opening on Saturday on your Instagram story to 110,000 followers and did not get the spot booked. And you have a full clientele. It's not like we're struggling over here. I mean, you're pretty much fully booked, sometimes a month out, the past few months. So we have a really solid clientele, but they're not on your Instagram, and Instagram is not showing your content to your clients anymore. And we didn't do anything to not do that. We didn't try to not, we still post your daily schedule. We post about the treatments. We try to educate, but clearly Instagram's just not showing our content to a bunch of local followers anymore. And it used to not be that way. We used to get DMs going, hey, I'm interested. Hey, I want to book that. There's not content that we post that just fills the schedule anymore. It's these years of building a strong clientele, building a name in our community, building this foundation of a really solid business, and not just a piece of content. So when she told us that the other day that, she's struggling to post post. She's not an expert in content. She's trying to get better, and she's really struggling to post, but she's like, every time I post, I book a service. And we're not that way. And we have 100 times more followers than she does.
You'll notice the switch because I remember in the beginning, and we posted openings and they got filled. So you really have to be strategic with the way that you're advertising on Instagram. And that's why I even keep a bunch of my portfolio of my before and afters. And still people can get the feel for the experience with my videos. But majority of my bookings now come from Google and not Instagram. So what is your purpose with Instagram? Because there's a lot of opportunity. If you eventually want to sell, let's say, a gua sha course or whatever is your expertise, I would suggest building a strong presence on social media because it can open up more opportunities. Do you want to be an acne expert? Do you want to showcase and have brands recognize you and they reach out to you, and then you can, I mean, it doesn't pay much, to be honest, but like to go speak, they'll pay for your flight and your hotel. There's not truthfully a ton of money in the aesthetics industry when it comes to brands paying. So what is your goal with social media? I mean, truthfully, in my opinion, the only reason why you would grow your social media is to have, number one, authority in the space. But with that comes, you should be making money. So what is your core offer to other people in the industry? So those are the two things I wanted to touch on.
Our business model has changed, and what we realized, like you mentioned earlier, is that you didn't want to be in the treatment room 5 days a week, and we were realizing, okay, the content is moving on Instagram. We were doing some brand deals at the time, and then us like looking at our business model and how we were able to grow so quickly, what business strategies we implemented to really hit the ground running as a solo business in a new state, and realizing that how many questions we were getting flooded with constantly on how we did everything that we do. And so then we went, okay, let's change what the structure of how we're posting, not trying to run away from estheticians following, but let's lean into it because they're following us because they want to learn. So let's create something for them. And then, last year especially, we really got into a growth mindset of, trying to hit 100,000 followers by the end of the year. We ended up not doing it. We ended up doing it in January. But we hyper focused on growing social media with the intention to sell not your services in the treatment room, but our Patreon and our community, and the YouTube and esthetician education is what we leaned into. And so then we go, okay, what type of content explodes and gets more esthetician eyeballs that want to learn how we do what we do? And so the whole strategy changed. So like you mentioned, having those goals, and right now, if you're in a place where you're still trying to fill the books up, then don't like force growing on Instagram. Don't compare yourself to bigger estheticians in the space that have virality or are meme pages or that are funny. You don't know where they are in business. They might be in a place where they're sitting back, they have full books, and they're diving into the community and just trying to make friends and inspire estheticians and be funny and like it's more of like a fun space for them. But if you're a newer esthetician starting out and trying to fill the books, don't compare yourself. Don't make content like the people with 20, 30, 40,000 followers, because you don't know what their results are. You don't know what they're getting, what that's even doing for them. And I think that's really important for a young esthetician to realize, that don't chase down what we're doing. Be inspired, but pull what you need to pull that actually makes sense for you and your business right now.
Absolutely. I do think that I think in order to book clients on Instagram, you have to provide a lot of educational content, number one, and number two, before and afters, because that, in my opinion, can bring a ton of traffic to your page, and then running like local ads to your business. I mean, those things can also be a great pivot for you to actually get more bookings on Instagram, because when we're talking about, I guess, more so content creation, or let's say you have an informal graphic on acne. I mean, majority people who are sharing that are estheticians. That's why it does so well. So if you are trying to grow your presence, make educational content, and you can throw in some personality as far as, I wouldn't focus on funny reels, but you can always throw one in. But when you look at somebody's page, why do you follow them? What is the reasoning that draws you to them? So try to be your own person, and with your branding and your coloring and all that, like, what are you an expert at? Like, why would somebody follow you? Like, be known for something.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, where when it comes to looking at competition, look at ads that you're getting for local businesses in your town. Look at content that makes you want to go purchase something as a consumer. Yeah. Instead of looking at the aesthetics industry and going like, what are all the estheticians doing? Like, no, look at what the local landscape company is doing that you booked to come mow your lawn. Like, what did they post that made you book with them? Or a dog walking company or a food spot? Like, how are they promoting that's actually making you go and purchase? And replicate that to your business rather than replicating what other estheticians are doing. Like I said, when you don't know where everyone's at in the industry. And for us, I really study like Instagram and estheticians and businesses and seeing how they're doing things and why they're doing things. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people don't even know what they're doing, and they're just kind of doing stuff to do it. They've been in business for a long time, and it's inspiring this next realm of estheticians. And that person that you're following that you think has it all figured out is just kind of goofing around. They're just kind of throwing stuff out to do it because they already have full books, and they have a spouse that works, and it's a fun thing on the side. So I think that's a really good point as far as a strategy goes. Is look locally. If a burger spot makes you go want to buy a burger, what did they post to make you enticed to go buy that burger? And you need to do the same thing for your business, right? What can you show? If it's the afterglow of a regimen, if it's your expertise of being a skin coach, is what I like to call Victoria now, like a personal trainer skin coach. Like, what things can you show just like they show to make you go purchase, instead of looking at Skin by You's Instagram and going like, well, it must be working. Look at that CapCut template and how exciting and moody and beautiful the video was. That doesn't get us a client.
Exactly. I mean, if your goal is to get clients and you have one post that, let's say, gets 2,000 likes on it and reaches 500,000 people, what did that content do for you, truthfully? Like, what? Because I look at that, and I mean, I'm grateful for my platform, but I'm like, all these estheticians are just sharing it. And I hope that a client stumbles upon it and they learn something new. But truthfully, your content naturally in the esthetician community is that's how it gets shared. It's through other estheticians. So
it's not viral because all the local moms are sharing a beautiful microneedling video. It's other estheticians trying to sell their services.
Don't be discouraged when you are not getting as many views as you like, because virality does not equal clients, guys. I wish it was that easy. Everybody would be booked and busy, to be honest. It would be so easy, but that's why we always suggest finding other resources like Google, reviews and referral programs, things like that, and not relying on Instagram, because you could wake up like TikTok and it's just gone.
I was just thinking about it'd be funny to think about how many we get a ton of shares on our content, and it's a lot of estheticians in the space. I mean, we constantly, our shares tab thing on our feed is just constantly filled with like 20, 30, 40 people sharing. I wouldn't be shocked if those people book more clients from our shares than we do with the content itself, because they're posting our microneedling video to their 300 highly engaged clients, and we're posting to 100,000 estheticians, right? Which I think for us, it's just fine. I mean, we're happy to be that resource. We're happy to push. We love creating the content that we do.
That's why we offer stock.
It's why we offer the stock footage.
For people to use for their social media, they can purchase.
Exactly. So I mean, and that's where we've ended up in our position. But like you just mentioned, now all of our content, all of our clients, most of them come from Google. So now we put a ton of energy and effort into SEO, into building a perfect website, and making it a great client experience when they hit the website. So if you want to know how to book clients, go, instead of copying our Instagram, go copy the website, because that's what's getting us
join our Patreon.
The highest. And if you want to learn how to book more clients, our Patreon link is going to be down below. We have tons of really in-depth videos on how we market our business, how Victoria edits videos. Not protocols. That you should still learn how to edit good content. I'm not hoping not like telling people like, no,
you don't. You still have to have a good brand. You still have to have a clean, cohesive brand. I mean, it all ties together. You're going to get other estheticians no matter what. Like you can't, if you're going to grow your Instagram, it's just going to happen. I'm sorry, but you still want your page to be beautiful and premium for when somebody goes to your page. That's again why I have before and afters. And the people that do book the appointments, that come from Instagram, the number one thing that they say is, I booked because of your results in the experience. I mean, you still want to have a page for potential clients.
Of course.
But just value that 1,000 valued 300 followers that are local, over 100,000 followers that are broad across the world that may not even ever see you in person.
That are never going to buy anything from you. And in the beginning of the business, that's extremely important. And as you grow, you can pivot and change about your business models like we did. You know, we never planned on that being a change, that the whole business model was going to change, but it works, and we're happy with what we built now. But we also don't want people to make the same mistakes. Like, we don't want them to go down the same journey that we went down if they don't want the same result we want. If you don't want to completely restructure your business and get out of the treatment room, then maybe don't copy our exact plan for how we built and grow and still do social media.
Don't copy anybody. Like,
that's true.
Be your own person and be inspired by other things. But it's so crazy how some people will be like, I did XYZ, and they'll literally make the exact same video. I'm like, no, you have to like have your own branding. You have to have your own personality still. It's not like you're just going to wake up, do it one time, and you're going to succeed. You're going to get 1 million views or whatever that is. Truthfully, if you want to grow on social media, I know that this is so basic, but you do have to be consistent. We posted 2 times per day in the beginning, even 4, I think. And not saying that everybody has to do that, but to get hyper growth, you have to put in hyper work. And you're going to drive yourself crazy. I mean, the most successful people that we talk to, they have similar stories. They eat, sleep, breathe their business. You have so many nights where you're just up and trying to figure it out. Just don't give up.
Going back to another point where you just mentioned of like be inspired. Like, you could be inspired, but don't copy other people. But in the beginning, one thing that helped us a lot was our biggest inspiration was our clients and what they were saying and the questions that they had.
Study your clients.
I was like, okay, what was their problem? What were they confused about? Like, where are they struggling in their routine? And you're like, well, everyone's having a problem with vitamin C. Like, then let's go and talk about vitamin C a lot more. If that's what everyone is, that's what our actual clientele is talking about. Be inspired by that and not about what an esthetician is teaching about glycolic acid. If your clients don't know what glycolic acid is, they're not going to resonate when you post about it, right?
It's so funny too, because there's this esthetician that she says, I get inspired by my clients. I make content for my clients. I listen to my clients, and when they ask a question, I'll make a graphic about that, and it may not perform as well, but she gets crazy sales because she's making content for her clients. So I think there is a right way to do it. You're not going to get some like crazy hyper growth from it. But again, back to the point is your clients that are actually following you locally are way more valuable than virality.
Exactly.
Don't chase it, guys.
Especially in the beginning. Yeah, that's a really good point. Is she was making graphics that sometimes I was like, this one's not that good, or this doesn't make any sense. And then when we talked to her, I'm like, oh, because you're doing this for the right reason. Like, you're not doing this for vanity metrics.
And it still resonates with other estheticians. She
course.
still gets shares, but it works because they're common questions that clients are asking. So what is your purpose with Instagram, guys? It's not all glitz and glamour as it seems. There's a lot to think about of why you want to grow your Instagram. What's your why? If it's for clients, why? Why are you chasing virality, truthfully?
Exactly. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you put in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you look at that Patreon. The link will be right down below to join our exclusive community. But we'll see you in the next episode.